Welcome to mUNITY Kiosk. This week, we proudly present Right Neighbor. The Right Neighbor site aims to connect people locally for the exchange of ideas and information. Next, Right Neighbor TV.
Alright, so we're here with David and we're gonna get our soil questions answered about our, the fact that you can convert your lawn into a garden. Why don't you tell us what makes the soil so special, or the compost so special?
We're on a horse farm in Ridgefield, and this is where I do the composting. This is what comes out of the stalls: the horse manure, the wood shavings that we use for bedding, and any leftover hay. But I thoroughly compost it, meaning that composting temperatures get above 150. So we cook out any weed seeds. You don't have to worry about that part. And from the manure comes the nutrition in the final product of the compost. Okay, so these are windrows of the finished composted product. And like I said, the composting temperatures get way up, so we're cooking out any weed seeds. Also, this is beneficial because it's manure-based. There's lots of nutrition in this that you may not get with other products on the market. The idea is that this is a live product. It's teeming with microbes so that it feeds your soil and feeds your plants. It's the only way you're going to get really good crops from whatever it is you're growing, by having that soil food web alive and well in your soil. In essence, your crops are only as good as your soil is.
David, why don't you show us your awesome worm castings here?
This is a commercial worm bin. You can see a few of them in there. They work 24/7. Don't ask for vacations. What they produce is this wonderful, dark, rich soil that I call nature's potting soil. It's nothing better for your plants, whether they're outdoors or indoors. There's lots of nutrition in it, growth hormones, holds water wonderfully. It's just great stuff. So everybody should have a worm bin or use worm castings, either one.
And they can get them right from you.
They can get them from me. I make the stuff myself, so I am quality control. I'm everything. It's not made some place far away that's then being bagged up and sent to your local Home Depot or something. It's a local product, locally produced. You can trust it. I've been in business over 5 years, and everybody loves the products that I make.
Welcome to mUNITY Kiosk. This week, we proudly present Right Neighbor. The Right Neighbor site aims to connect people locally for the exchange of goods and services. Next, Right Neighbor TV.
Well, my name is Pat Stapleton. I'm the owner of Stapleton Electric and Solar, and this is one of my projects that I've just finished. And this is the inverters for Ken Unclis is building the North Coast Seed Company.
Hi, I'm Ken Unclis. This is my building. We call it the North Coast Seed Building. It was the North Coast Seed Building for 50 years. And over the years, as we had available space, I started renting it to artists. And solar has always made sense to me, philosophically, emotionally, and intellectually. So really, when the economics of it came around, that's when it kind of became the proverbial no-brainer. All our energy comes from the sun. That's the big nuclear power. And as soon as the state and federal agencies put in enough incentives to make it feasible, we got it done. And then Pat's an old pro. I mean, he got it done. And they're hitting their marks, their predicted marks, right on the nose as far as the energy that we would achieve. And that's the part that naturally, in the end, is the most satisfying. I'm totally pleased with the work they did.
With the federal incentives and the state incentives, we also have the Energy Trust of Oregon that helps offset the cost of these systems. Once again, depending upon your tax credit and how much it will offset and so forth. And we like to take a look at your electric bills, and we'll build a system around what you have, by what your electric bills are and what your budget is. On a residential system, between the feds, the state, and the ETO, they'll pick up 75% of the cost of the system. With the commercial building, that's different. They have accelerated tax credits. It's even a nicer deal for commercial and industrial customers. Preferably, I'd like to use made in the USA products. I necessarily don't hold to that, but I do try to shoot that way. And these particular modules, evergreens, are made in the USA. Well, give us a call. One of our sales techs will get a hold of you, come out and look at your roof and see what kind of sheeting you have and your bills, and tell you what we can build for you.
Welcome to the mUNITY Kiosk. This week, we proudly present Bright Neighbor. The Bright Neighbor site connects you to your neighbors and their skills, while encouraging you to share yours. Next, Bright Neighbor TV.
Alright, we're here with Padraig, who is the best specialist you could ever possibly ask for in your yard to convert it into a permaculture oasis that is going to grow food, be a food forest, and all the benefits of it. So Padraig, why don't you give us a tour about what you've been doing here in this Woodstock area home?
You know, the first thing that we did is we really considered how water is collected and flows on this property. So you'll notice, for example, we have several downspouts that are disconnected and then go into water catchment tanks. You can see one of the water catchment tanks over yonder. There's a couple others on other sides of the house. So we collect a little water, then overflow goes into low swales. And we have lingonberries, and there's another place over there, cranberries. This is what we call a roof washer. This branch here just takes the first amount of water, and as it rains, this fills up. Theoretically, the dirty particles is a very cheap way to go. It's called the poor man's roof washer. And then finally this overflows and then goes down here. And because water seeks level, it can go down and then go up. It isn't really going up, it's just that they're both filling up and then filling the tank.
And the overflow.
And then the overflow of the tank, once the tank is full, you know, here's some water that we can use for watering during the hot summer months. And meanwhile, the overflow comes out of here, goes down into this cranberry bog. Some new beds in here, just your standard raspberry bed. You know, what does the raspberry look like when it's first planted? Look like this. But, you know, we're using cardboard to keep the weeds down, covering it over with some straw. This is a nitrogen rich rather than a carbon rich. The chips are all carbon rich, fungal dominated, good for the wood. A lot of plants want a bacterial dominated compost, and they want a higher nitrogen to carbon ratio and that sort of thing. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons why we have different methods in the same garden, because we have plants at different needs.
Welcome to the mUNITY Kiosk. This week, we proudly present Bright Neighbor. The Bright Neighbor site aims to connect people locally for the exchange of goods and services. Next, Bright Neighbor TV.